Israel, but Qatar and also Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Cyprus and so on, and how it affects our markets here at home. Sam, good morning.
Good morning. Well, we are seeing a classic.
It's the worst month in a year. I mean, for some of these NASDAQ names,
right.
as you're noting, February was a tough month. Let's get to what's going on with Novo Nordisk. I see it down about 1.5%.
Yeah, it's under pressure off the back.
Right. And last but not least, we take a look at Berkshire Hathaway. First earnings under Greg Abel, and I thought it was really neat, too, how he really sort of said how he plans to stay on for a couple of decades at least. Really bringing some, obviously clarity for folks and certainty that he'll be around.
It is. I mean,
Right, thank you, Giant King Hall. Great to see you. Appreciate it. And we'll get back to our top story. This is such a huge day to have you on a breaking news mode. We know that people understand. I mean, the Strait of Hormuz travels about a fifth of oil. I saw the graph of all the boats lined up on either side, but that top nook is quiet. And you can't, when we say close it, we know what we mean. Right. And if you go through there, you'll be bombed. You don't want to go through there. They actually can't physically put up a wall. It's 21 miles long, but they can make it so much escalation that you don't want. They've already seen some ships.
And it could get to the point where they put in mines or something like that.
Yes,
or they sink some ships there. So that could make it.
We already had a Greek ship sort of have something. It was called. It was. Galomina, a company from Greece, actually, one of the ships I think went down. In the meantime here, what is your assessment of the market? Because from what I understand, and I was looking at Mike Wilson from Morgan Stanley, he was saying in a few months, let's say 1, 6, 12 months, the market is up 2, 6, and 8% respectively. That market's come back.
So, yeah, I think.
Sure. I mean, I know you're friendly with a lot of generals and those in the military. Of course, I want to recognize the lives lost, at least 3 U.S. military servicemen and their families, and all the families that are really supporting our military at this time of action, which, from what I'm hearing, you tell me what you're hearing. I mean, I heard the president said at least 4 more weeks of this, right? I mean, we can't expect this to be, it's not like what we saw with Iran recently. It's going to be a different story.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure to continue.
Of Ayatollah Khomeini, you may not necessarily feel that way.
I think
he's one of the people that has been discussed as the possible succession plan. But it's my understanding that the U.S. really doesn't want to change Iran. They just want a leader that is willing to say no nukes and work with the other countries.
I think a lot of it really.
Who may, the succession plan, the likely candidates to lead this country?
I do not, given all the carnage that's been over there, we have no idea. And I think that.
For protesters to come out, too, to really protest, and I guess some are still very afraid. So we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, when you think about your vantage point as an investor, near-term and long-term, near-term opportunities, long-term opportunities.
So near-term, I think you want to take.
Oversold, you wouldn't be buying here. It's not your game right now.
My gut feel is yes. Deep down, that's all I want. It was contrarian. You're sitting there seeing this, but I am worried that if you see volatility for sure.
Good. Peter, cheers. Interrupted you. But there are some of those Mag 7 names that actually have been beaten down. And the question is tech oversold? Do you get in now or sort of keep that cash on the sideline? I mean, it's hard to time the market. Let's know. Well, you know that.
And it's hard to tell when that quote unquote.
No, it's about inflation, right?
And that's actually where the oil comes back to.
Yeah, and look, I mean, when oil goes up, when gasoline goes up, it's almost another tax for folks.
100%.
Generally, no matter what bracket you're in, and you're paying more. The president has done an incredible job of bringing energy down, and even we saw a 5 handle on mortgage rates briefly last week. But now it looks like this is going to be going on. They're not stopping. It's obviously a concerted effort for another at least 4 weeks.
The president did say we are.
I mean, we did see a lot of love for AI in the last few days. For example, NVIDIA just became a top pick today over at, I think it was Morgan Stanley. That was big news. You know, there's still love. You saw all the CapEx spending from Taiwan Semi and the deals that are still making going forward. So it looks, and NVIDIA's numbers were great. So it shows the AI frenzy is still underway, but there's still that uncertainty. So what does a good diversified portfolio look for? I know different age groups, different risk tolerance, but what does maybe a good diversified portfolio look for? like to you?
So I think
It's going to cut rates now. I mean, if you have elevated inflation, does the Fed cut rates? Does the Fed cut rates because they're worried about the economy or things like that? It's hard to say, and Kevin Warsh will be coming in, ideal, that seems to be the plan for May. Thoughts on the Fed at all? Sometimes a midterm year will not necessarily be a booming year for Wall Street. We've had 3 years in a row of 20% plus gains. You've had 3 years of a bull market. We'll see whether or not, it's looking like it could be a fourth, but no one really knows. And as far as oil, it's all about the Strait of Hormuz at this point. All the boats are sort of waiting. I saw the graphs, and that one nook, that 21-mile spot is quiet. So, because they don't want to go through, they could get bombed, there could be mines until they get the okay to really get that going once again. A final thought, I guess, for investors and viewers.